U.S. home values across, right? So we're not just the only ones. U.S. home values fell for the first time since 2012. The sellers and buyers are facing a very different housing market to 2020. Of course, we're in a very different time. Now, we're not in anything like 2008. So people always like to draw to the most recent housing correction. We're nothing like that because if you look at it, the job situation is very strong. At the same time, the lending requirements are a lot tighter than it was in 2008. So the impact of a decline isn't the same. It's cooling down. People still need to make their moves, and you're going to have this continue to go on. But unless there is significantly more foreclosures, which is for people that can't make payments, or there are massive unemployment, then those are the things that would certainly be impactful when it comes to this. But it's nothing like that, but it still has been declining. And you should see this across the board. You know, I'm not in the belief, and I don't believe from the other realtors that say, look, this is not going to happen. I think it's certainly going to happen. The question is, where does it start flattening? And when is it the right opportunity for yourself? Because you still want to have you want to have a perspective of things. The perspective of things and the reality of things is that over a long period, we still have a housing problem. I mean, think about how many millennials out there. You may be a millennial watching this, or you may know some people that are. You are all either in a smaller home that you need a larger home because a lot of people have kids, or you're trying to go away from the renting space into the home ownership space. That's not going to change. Now, the timing of it may change. It may be right now, it may be a year, it may be 2 years, it may be 4 years, but it's going to happen. But how much more housing is being built? Just look for yourself. Housing confidence for new construction is all-time lows. They're not going to build anymore. They're going to stop everything. So there's going to be a massive gap too. So not only do we have a massive housing shortage, we also have even a bigger problem where they all given up to stop building for the next couple of years. And so the timing is going to be there. Now, whether it's immediate, that's your choice. Do you want to take advantage of it now and just ride it through the next couple of years, or do you want to do it later? But the reality from a macro level, as you can see, is still a problem. And it's a problem, quite frankly, for most of the country, but especially it's a problem in areas that people want to be in, right? These housing issues are issues of core and good areas. So that's certainly a thing to be mindful of. Michael, thank you for tuning in. What are some good areas you recommend move up buyers to look into currently in Fremont right now? Michael, please reach out to me directly. We're happy to go over conversations. But as a macro, it just depends on the individual. Right? The Bay Area as a high level is very, very simple. The jobs are still in the same area. You can talk whatever you want about flexibility of work, which is true, but the corporate campuses tend to still be in the same areas. And where are they? They're in the peninsula and in Santa Clara County. And so that's why prices are the most expensive in that area. That's why they will likely continue to be that way unless they all close shop, which they're not. So that's something to be mindful of. And at the end of the day, it all depends on budget, right? It absolutely depends on budget. Like I have another client, we spoke yesterday. His budget is 2.5 to 3 million. Those are going to be certain specific areas that will be suitable for them. At the same time, there'll be areas that are not going to be suitable for them because someone at that range isn't going to look at $1.5 million houses. They're also not going to be able to afford every area, right? You're not going to be able to afford Palo Alto if you still want a 4-bedroom place. It's too low. So the idea is not necessarily good ideas based off of just where you want to move up. It has to be more specific. Yes, move up, very common. What is the price range? And what else is important? Do schools matter? If from there, then you start to narrow down very easily and very quickly where you should be looking. So the search is actually for most people a whole lot easier than you may think. Now, just like my client that had that conversation, they've only lived in one area for a long time. So they didn't live in a lot of other places. So this is where it's the good opportunity to be like, oh, I didn't know I can go to Los Gatos. I didn't know I could go to Cambrian. I was looking at Evergreen. I was looking at Mission San Jose and Fremont. I was considering Milpitas, right? I was considering San Carlos and Belmont. Now, that's a different thing. Now, that's an understanding and get to experience what you think of those neighborhoods. They're all very excellent neighborhoods, but you may have a preference, right? San Carlos, Belmont, a lot more homes in the hills. Some people may or may not like that atmosphere. Harder to have guests over because there's much less public parking, right, if you're in the hills. But you get the peacefulness, you get the views. So every area will have pros and cons, but the key is first you got to, and this is where we can have a private conversation. So send me a message, and we can certainly talk about that, because it's all about prices, and then we understand, okay, these are the areas that would work with that in mind, and then you just focus on those areas and start to understand it. So that's what's happening with the general market itself. So nothing too surprising here. It's just not just the Bay Area; it's happening across the country. Some areas are impacted more than others. Some areas also will likely recover faster than others. Thank you for watching this short on my YouTube channel. For more shorts, go ahead and click here. For more live streams, you can go ahead and click here. I'll see you in the next one.